Broadcasting from the business capital of the world, this is the Podcast Business News Network.
Hi, everyone. We are with Leigh Lincoln. Go ahead, hon.
So today, I wanted to introduce myself again. I'm Leigh Lincoln. I'm the author of 4 inspirational novels, and today I wanted to do something a little different. I wanted to read just a little snippet from my first book, Road Home. And so I've got my readers on for just a second here, and then I will take them off so you can see my pretty little face, or not. Maybe you don't want to see my pretty little face, but. So this is like I say, this is a little snippet from my first book. It was late October when I arrived in that dusty desert Arizona town. The sun had set moments before, and the temperature was dropping fast. Not like that's unusual in the desert. My ride had dropped me off a few blocks from a park where they claimed I could stay the night. I hoped they were right, as the area didn't seem to be a good one. But then again, when did I ever end up in a nice neighborhood anymore? Homeless people weren't exactly welcome in places where Mercedes were parked, where the McMansions were, where the ladies who lunched lived. My world had gotten grittier the longer I'd been on the streets. But like a lobster in a slowly heating pot, I don't think I noticed how bad it had become most of the time. It simply was my life now. Walking the couple of short blocks, I noticed how few people were out on this nice night. Sweating a little despite the growing chill, I passed run-down and abandoned commercial buildings. You know that feeling like you're being watched? Not likely you are, but your spine tingles anyways. That night, I was sure someone was following my every move. Being ambushed in the dark was one of my biggest fears. What would they do when they realized I had no money to steal? I never wanted to find out. I'd wished I'd stopped at a different town earlier in the day when it was still light out, but I'd so wanted to be as far south as possible. When I started out this morning, I was determined that today was going to be my last day of traveling this year. I'd been hitching rides for almost a month to land somewhere I could make a nice, warm winter home. Enough traveling for a while, it was time for this snowbird to find a place to land and finally rest. So this town was it, almost to Mexico, but now it was dark, not a way to start a life in a new town. So, yeah, that kind of describes how a lot of homeless people feel, because they often just try to find the best spot they can find at the moment. And so that's how I write. I write very descriptive. I write in first person, and I write based on things that I've heard, seen, or done myself. And no, I was never homeless, but I worked with homeless. And so that's what I wanted to talk about a little today is life experiences, because they say all authors write what they know, whether they intend to or not. And I've had a lot of very unique life experiences. Let's just put it that way, because my life is a journey, and every life is a journey. And so yeah, that's kind of where I am and what I've done. So that's why I wanted to read that little passage.
Oh, thank you so much. So how many books currently do you have?
I have 4.
Mhm.
I have Road Home that I just read a little snippet from, about a homeless woman. I have Road to Freedom, which is about a man who's dying of cancer. I have Finding the Real Road, which is about a woman who has a really bad marriage and she finally gets a divorce. And then my newest one, The Road West, which is about an elderly woman who almost had an affair when she was younger and then lived a life of guilt.
So, wow.
Lots of life experiences, lots of journeys.
Oh my goodness. Great. Well, we're excited to have you back here. LeighLincolnAuthor.com is the website. Leigh spelled LeighLincoln author.com. And this is just a quick show today. It's a little teaser show. We're going to have another full show. But for the next 5 minutes, then what else did you want to discuss, or did you want to read another passage?
Well, no, I want to talk a little bit about life experiences because I often get asked why I put the word road in every single one of my books. And I talk about how life is a road, life is a journey. And we often find ourselves on paths that we didn't necessarily choose or want to be on. And then we have to figure out, well, can we make this road work or do we need to find a new path? And so for me, my life started out in a very unique way. I was adopted. And so for me, just the whole beginning of my life was not a journey that most children start out on. Most children start out in a family that they're born into, not chosen into. So so that is why my next series is going to be on adoption. So yeah, every life experience gives you some new piece of the puzzle that our life is. And then growing up, just having all these amazing different experiences. I lived in Europe for a little while as an exchange student. And that has just gave me the travel bug. And well,
Mm-hmm.
that in fact, my parents traveled a ton, but you know, each little piece of the puzzle adds a little bit more to it. And then I was a single mom as raising my son. There's another little piece of the puzzle. I worked in all of these homeless shelters and soup kitchens and clothing closets with I worked helping people get into their first time home. And that's another little piece of the puzzle, right? Every little piece adds something unique to our lives and gives us a new perspective. Um, and then I had all these amazing experiences when all these times I've traveled around to meet immigrants to this country. Well, there's another little piece of the puzzle. I'm not an immigrant, but I know all of these people now, right? I've even met a few in Canada who are from other countries. And so there's another little piece of the puzzle, right? And then I went to Spain and Greece, and I started meeting these people who were not from Spain or Greece. They were from other places. I even
Wow.
met a few Americans that gave up their American citizenship and permanently moved to Europe, right? Or they're
Wow.
from
Yeah.
Cuba or from Venezuela and they've moved to Europe, right? For various reasons. So there's another little piece of the puzzle, right? So, but do we take these little pieces
Hmm.
and do we do something with them? Or we just say, well, been there, done that, moving on, right? And this is what I'm trying to get people to understand that there's so much to our lives. And do we accept it? And do we grow from it? Or do we just say, oh, not for me? And
Yeah.
I don't want that experience in my life. And
Yeah.
even sometimes really, really something horrible can be a great experience. And so for me, I say there's no such thing as failure. It's an opportunity. And
Yeah.
yeah, everything can be an opportunity.
Oh my
And
goodness.
so I didn't quite set out to write novels, but yeah, I'm having so much fun doing so. And I'm not saying everybody needs to write a book. I'm
Eh,
just saying everybody needs to look and see, hey, what happened?
Oh, and where are you, by the way, in the world right now? I know you're always traveling.
Yeah, right now I'm in Georgia.
Oh my goodness. All right, great. Well, what are the plans for the rest of the week?
I have a really crazy week. I am in deep into editing for my next book and trying to get that baby book out into the world. So yeah, I am deep in editing. It's crazy. Don't ask how hard editing is, because that's when someone else takes a look at my work and says, "I just don't get where you were thinking," and I'm like, "This makes sense to me," and they're like, "No,
Oh
just."
my gosh. Well, thank you so much. Pleasure having you back. Please remind us how we can reach you.
I can be reached at leelincolnauthor.com, or you can find me on Facebook, Leigh Lincoln Author. Super easy to find. My email is leelincolnauthor@gmail.
Perfect. Thank you so much. I appreciate it. You have a fantastic day and we'll connect earlier next time, okay?
Okay.
Thanks so much, hon. Have a great day.
Are you looking for even more of the podcasts and hosts that you love? The Podcast Business News Network is proud to announce that you now have even more ways to listen live. Check out the MyTuner Radio, online radio box, and Simple Radio apps on iOS and Android, or find us online. Search for Business News Network on mytuner-radio.com, or search Podcast Business News Network on streama.com and onlineradiobox.com/US. Take your podcast on the go and don't miss a minute of the action.
Broadcasting from the business capital of the world, this is the Podcast Business News Network.
For nearly 2,000 severely injured veterans, everyday life has become filled with barriers.
Day-to-day simple tasks can become pretty daunting.
I have to carry my chair up 2 flights of steps or have somebody do it for me.
What scares me the most is just the falling.
When I'm struggling with my house, I think, to have that one great barrier just knocked down, it's crucial.
Home for Our Troops is a wonderful nonprofit that builds a
mortgage-free, fully adaptive, handicap-accessible house.
And there's no catch.
It'll be our very first home that we've ever owned. This is a game changer.
This is where your life begins again.
We need you to join us in completing this important mission. Please visit hfotusa.org and help build homes and rebuild lives.
Because of you, everything's going to be okay.